Hey, so I'm Anna from Location, and normally you will see me on this side of the camera showing gorgeous properties. But today I thought it was incredibly important to do something different in light of Mental Health Awareness Month. However, it's something we should be very cautious of throughout the entire year. So today we've got a fantastic local man here, Kayas, who has been involved with many great projects, but most recently has been doing documentaries on mental health awareness. So I thought it'd be fantastic to have a not mental health, advocate in here today to discuss with us the importance of it. But Kayas, thank you for coming.
Firstly, thanks for having me on.
It's a privilege.
Yeah, no, thank you. My name's Irshad. I'm a production manager, but more actor, producer, director. I also do casting and marketing for films and stuff, and mental health advocate, so raising awareness on mental health, bullying, depression, anxiety. So yeah, no, thanks for having me on. And we're in the ends.
And we're in Hackney.
We're in Hackney. Do you know what? I have to say before we start, everywhere I'll get called to do podcasts or filming and stuff, it's always out of the ends, like South London, North London, and I'm just like, it takes me ages to get there. Around the corner.
And dressed like a true Hackney man as well. So no, thank you for coming. But just wanted to kickstart this off really and understand, why are you such a huge advocate for mental health, and why is that such a close cause to you?
I feel for me, I've been through literally everything. Also when it comes to mental health, bullying, racism, depression, anxiety. So when I was younger, went through a lot from school, at workplaces, and as I got older, obviously I just thought that, you know what, now, because I'm in the industry, yeah, we do acting and stuff like that, and we've got our platforms, but I just feel like in this day and age now, it's happening a lot. And I thought, we've got the platforms, why not raise awareness and try and help others as much as possible? And every day I'm hearing stories about people going through so much, and I just love helping people, and I just thought that it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything to be kind, and because I've been through it, I just feel, obviously I know how they feel. So why not raise awareness and get others to reach out as well, and push the topics and stuff, because it's not going to brush away. It's always going to be there, but I feel we can raise awareness on it and help. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. And I've always said that these topics always bounce off each other, like depression, anxiety, bullying. It's all like connected.
All related,
it's all related and connected. So I feel that, while I'm on platforms and, on podcasts or on radio or stuff like that, I just want to help people. And, it's kind of like you're giving something, and when they message you saying that, I help them and, they feel better, then, you just feel happy, even if you're saving one life every day.
I think if everyone kind of had that mentality or attitude towards it, I think if everyone in everyday life had a bit more compassion, had a bit more understanding, wasn't so quick to be on the defence and instead seek to understand people, I think the world would be a lot more better place, and people would be in a lot more better headspace in general. But I think what's going on in this day and age is even worse for people, because there's so many more pressures and external pressures, and more comparison, I think, than ever before, where people are now judging where they're at in life by what other people are doing. For instance, social media. And of course, you're big on social media yourself, but how do you think that's now impacted this generation in terms of their mental health, and how it's creating mental health issues now just from social media alone?
Social media is a massive effect. I think it plays a massive impact on people's mental health, because people are comparing themselves constantly to others. They're trying to seek validation, and that's why I try and tell people that stop seeking validation, just do you, be you. And I always do end up doing random stories sometimes just to remind people. And social media, like, it could, I've always said it's a good and bad. Like, use it for the right reasons. We use the platforms to promote our businesses, our work. If someone goes missing, you're trying to, send out the good on there. But it could be misused as well. And people, there's a lot of competition on there where people look at celebrities or be like, oh yeah, I want to be like that person, and then what ends up happening, they'll post they'll post, and then they won't get enough likes or engagement and comments and stuff, and then bang, the anxiety and the depression starts kicking in. They'll delete it, repost it, And then what ends up happening, your mind, you're just constantly on there saying, oh, is it me? Do I look horrible? They'll start looking at the body and the face, and then that's how it all starts. And then literally they're up all night on their phone saying, wow, man, and how come this person is getting so much engagement and I'm not? They start downing themselves, and that's where it all starts off. So it does play a big impact. But a lot of people don't realize as well. And I've always said to people, if you suffer depression, badly, you need to get off social media.
Yeah.
You need to, because a lot of people end up staying on, but you need to have a break. I've done it before. Do you know what I'm saying? I've done it before where a few years back as well, I went through something really, really, really personal, and I was suffering depression for like 6 months, but I knew I had to come off social media because it's good. It's just going to make me worse.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean,
so that's my advice. Get off. So if you're suffering depression and you're feeling really down, even I'm not saying come off for a couple of weeks, but even for a few days, trust me, it'll clear your head.
I think as well, change who you follow. Change what you're following.
Yes.
Change the content that you're taking in. I mean, we'll touch on it later about our experiences, but I recently went through an experience that severely affected my confidence, my self-worth, etc. And at the time that this was happening was pretty much post-pandemic, but it's when everyone was on social media the most. And, because we had all this time on my hands, I think I was following, like makeup tutorials, stupid things like that, because we had all this time. And what I found myself falling into was a route of comparison. Like, because of the algorithms, all that I was then being seen was beautiful women looking even better and better and better, and then surgery videos and all these things that started coming up. And all it was really cementing to me was made me feel like I weren't good enough.
Yeah.
And I didn't look good enough, when in fact, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
And I definitely urge people to do that. Is once you become aware that you're doing that, what changed for me is I followed all of those accounts. And I think it was a Warren Buffett account that actually came up on my Instagram that said, if you follow these 5 accounts, it will completely transform your social media. And it did. It all became then in my feed positive affirmations, motivational quotes, things about how to empower me and my mental health rather than empowering the way I look, which still didn't penetrate deep enough to change the way I thought about myself.
100%.
And that's me as a 30-something-year-old woman who might have a little bit of awareness, but what about these younger girls?
Yeah.
These teenagers who are still trying to find themselves, and they've been given this unrealistic view of who they should be or what path they should be on.
Yeah.
So for sure, my biggest tip, if you are in a bad space or struggling with confidence and self-worth, if it's too much, come off social media, start changing what you're following and your content that you're taking in.
100% back that. 100% back that, because you're right, and I feel you need to be careful who you follow. Just follow people that motivate you, that basically makes you happy, because you don't want to be following people with bad energy. I've always said that.
Yeah.
You need to follow people with good energy that will motivate you, that makes you positive and stuff. And I feel like, we said it there. I feel like you just need to be careful who you follow, but always take a break when you need to, because it will come to a point where you're just like constantly comparing. And like you said earlier, where you're looking at all these people that's got surgery, that do a lot of things to their bodies, and a lot of it ain't legit, and you're just like, and this is even like talking on even the gym stuff.
Yeah.
Because obviously I work out a lot, and I go gym and fitness and stuff. I'm into fitness, and I feel you look at all these Instagrams, there's a lot of gym stuff now online. Now, guys will look at these men with, amazing bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we all want to look good. We all want the 6-pack. We all want the muscle. We've got to work hard for it. Do you know what I'm saying? But you don't know their life. You don't know
what cost.
Yeah, the cost. Them having 12, 13 meals a day like The Rock.
Yeah.
He's got the money for it. Some people might,
life.
no social life. Yeah. So, you don't know what lifestyle they live in, the money they got, what else they're doing. Everyone is different. I've always said this, every human being is different. So, you can't, obviously we want to look good, but you can't compare yourself like that. And I feel that's where it all kicks in, because you're going online, all you're seeing is, okay, he's got an amazing body, I want to look like that. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's where it all starts kicking in. Just be you. Just be legit. Go and train by yourself, look good by yourself, and try not to be a sheep and follow others. Yeah. Just be you.
And I think as well is that what happens with social media is we see the surface,
Yeah.
For me, who you are as a person is the most important thing. You might not look sharp and pristine maybe as all these other people are, but it's your character that's the most important thing. How you help people, like you said, you know, and how you do these other things to help the greater good rather than just being about yourself. But you know, I think that's definitely one of the biggest issues we have in this society now, is definitely the Instagram side of things. But on the flip side, I think where Instagram is also very dangerous and social media is very dangerous is it gives you an unrealistic view of how that person is.
Yeah.
So I've been on that side of things too. You know, when I was going through a really difficult time, you know, as most people would, you know, I was posting that I was going out, posting this, posting that. And every single person that I bumped into after that was like, oh my God, you're living life, you're having a great time. You know, you're not going through a hard time right now. You're obviously not struggling with it. You know, you're fine, while that other person is struggling. And it was like, you saw maybe 1 minute out of my entire day or maybe my entire week. And now you're getting a perception that I'm okay. And I think we look at other people's stories and what they're putting out there to assume that they're in a good place when possibly they're maybe in the complete opposite. And whether it's a facade or not is something that you're doing subconsciously or consciously to put a message out there. And maybe subconsciously I was trying to put a message out there that I am fine, when realistically that wasn't the case. And I think you touched on it before, that's how important it is to connect with people.
It is, and you're right. I mean, I've said this before. I've been in the industry 15 years, and I know how celebrities live. I know how, and people see what they want to see, you know, on social media. And I said this where even when people look at my account, you know, they're like, okay, like he's on the red carpet, he's on the film set, he's hanging out with this person. But what they don't know is, you know, I suffer migraines. I have done for 20 years. You know, I nearly want to cry sometimes. That's how bad they are. But they don't know I suffer them every few days. I sometimes don't see my family a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm always filming. You know, it affects my personal life as well, where I'm constantly busy sometimes, and you know, I don't see a lot of my friends. I try and have a lot of me time because I love my me time, but sometimes it saddens me. Sometimes I'm in my room, and not I'm saying depression will come quickly, but I kind of feel like, you know, it
consume you.
It sometimes gets to me, and I don't feel happy sometimes. So I feel like, and then obviously I snap out of it after a little while. But people don't realize that we're all human beings. Whether you're doing, you know, this and that, you know, we're human beings, and you know, it does affect you and stuff a lot. And this is why I try and tell people that social media is just social media. You know, don't believe everything you see on there as well. A lot of people portray a life they don't really live in as well. So I feel that it plays a big part in, you know, in depression and mental health. And this is why I say they need to step back and come off it. And trust me, sometimes I even have social media breaks. Like if I don't need to post anything, if I'm not working, I'll come off for about a week, and I feel so good. Like I don't ever miss it.
I think you need that. You need that bit of clarity without that kind of external influence.
We used to live without it. We used to live without phones. You know?
And there's a reason why they're called influencers. Because everything you see on there is influencing.
I hate that word.
It is influencing to some degree, right? It's influencing to some degree. And whether it's good or it's bad, it is changing the way that you think. Other than if you were on your own, you had one is amazing for mental health, by the way, but a meditation. You know, when you cut out all that external noise and everything else that's happening around you, only then do you really know how you feel about certain things or how you think about certain things. But the more that we are clouded by all this external noise, you know, you're never going to be able to see the end of that path. You just see the trees, you know, and it's hard to figure a way to get out of it.
There's another, I say there's another thing where I started doing a lot, and that's very helpful on people, is start having me time. Me time is so important. And I never used to do this before. And when I mean by me time, I'm talking about going for walks on your own. You know, go cinema on your own, go for a coffee, you know, go for a jog. It's just basically just you, because you're not relying on anyone but yourself. You know, people do let you down in life a lot. And I feel since I started doing that, you know, going for reading a book, you know, you're off your phone, and trust me, you recharge and reheal. I know, you know, and you know, it does you so good. And I started doing that a lot now, and I wish I used to do it before, but it, you know, it helps depression a lot, it helps mental health a lot. and you just feel so much healthier and better inside. So we need to start doing that. I feel with social media and phones, it's an addiction.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
an addiction, which yeah, I'll be honest. If I went in this industry, I wouldn't even be on social media because it's corrupt, and as I said, where it can make you feel worse. But again, use it for the right reasons and stuff, and yeah, just help others. I would say.
And touching on that, kind of the things that you do, I think self-care is the most important thing. And I think other than social media, probably the generation we're in now is there's so many more priorities and responsibilities. So you end up putting your self-care at the back of your priority list. And I definitely did for some time when I was going through a bad patch. And the only way I could describe it was I was pouring from an empty cup. That cup was dry. There wasn't a drop left in that cup. And I'm just keep trying to pour into everyone else's, and there was nothing left there. And that resulted in anxiety, outbursts, panic attacks, resentfulness. I became resentful for my responsibilities because I had nothing left for me, until you recognize where you're at and recognize that I can't be who I need to be for you until I pull back into my cup. And exactly like you said, was taking that time out. Exercise was a big game changer for me. Going to the gym, and it wasn't about looking a certain way or anything like that. It was building trust with myself again, that I can commit to doing this for me. The same way I wake up every day at a specific time to get to work for a specific time for my team, for my clients. Why don't I give myself that dedication? And that slowly built confidence within myself again as a person. And then the results come after, where you do start to look a bit better, and that uplifts you as well. But until you start doing things for yourself, you will not be able to do much for others. And sometimes if you are extremely busy, getting up extra half an hour earlier. The extra half an hour earlier, just have a cup of coffee on your own, no noise, nothing,
just
or going for that walk or listening to that tune. But giving yourself that half an hour in the morning, no matter what happens for the rest of your day, you had that time for yourself. And you don't feel then resentful that you've got nothing to do for yourself, or you've got no time to do these things for yourself. But it's extremely important to make sure that you put yourself as a priority before you put anyone else as a priority, because that will fall short eventually as well. And that will affect your mental health in bigger ways than you can ever imagine in the long term, for sure.
Yeah, I feel 100% with that. Because you need to put yourself first, which a lot of people don't. I never used to do that. I used to always put others first.
Don't
you got to put yourself first. You got to look after yourself, and just make sure that you're right mentally and physically. And this is why I always get questioned, like, "Gosh, you're always at the gym. You're always at the gym." And
it's a sanctuary, though.
It's my happy place.
Yeah.
And I tell people that. It's therapy. And I wish I wish I went gym in the 20s. As I said, where when you're in your 20s, you're flying, you feel like you're never going to die.
Invisible.
You're flying, you're invisible, you're flying. And I feel like I wish, and you see it on social media, a lot of elders now, even in the oldest, even celebrities and stuff, when they're 40s, 50s, they're at the gym. For me, it's my happy place, and it's so good for me, like mentally and stuff, because having a good body after is all a bonus. Getting the abs, getting the muscles, I've always said that's a bonus. But the endorphins that are released, that my happy, like when I after I'm finished, like I'm so happy. Like if I don't go gym for 2-3 days, I start feeling depressed.
It's a natural drug.
It's a natural drug. It's like I start feeling really down. But I feel like I go there, I'll spend about 2.5 hours, and it can seem like a long time, but I feel so happy. And I've always said to people, this is a good advice, like if you feel depressed, go to the gym, go work out. If you can't go gym, work out at home. I'm not saying do you don't have to go for 2 hours or anything like that. But even if you work out for like 10-15 minutes at home, do yoga, go for a jog and stuff, it's good for you.
Guaranteed, you will not be feeling the same way after that workout.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
You will never regret it once you've done it.
Nah.
Ever. You'll never regret
it. But it's the getting up and doing it. It's the hardest bit. And again, I'm going to mention this. I have had days where I'm in bed and I'm just like, I can't be asked today. We're not all like, and this is why I hate that word.
That was me yesterday.
This is why I hate that word influencer, because, you get the influencers like, let's wake up, I'm telling you, we're human. So I wake up just like, it's going to be another tough day. And, there was a few weeks ago, I think it was, I was just about to go gym. I was in my bed. I'm just like, I cannot be asked. I just want to stay in bed, watch Netflix all day. And there's nothing wrong with that. junk food. Like it's like
It's
a
about
norm.
balance.
Yeah, it's balance.
Yeah.
But literally, like, got up, got to the gym, and it was like my best decision that day. I never regretted it. And again, it's like you just feel so good.
Yeah.
But it's so good for you mentally. I'm telling you, it's the best release, and it's the best like
Cheapest therapy you'll ever have as well.
medicine.
By the way.
Yeah.
Cheapest therapy you'd have per hour.
Yeah, and I wish I knew
100%.
that from before. So yeah, people out there that are suffering like mental health issues and depression and stuff, look into that. I'm saying go for a jog, yoga, any little workout. You're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret it. And I want anyone to come back to me saying how they feel the same after, because that you won't.
You might feel sick if you went too hard, but
yes,
you won't
that's
feel
happened
bad
to me
about
as well.
it. Yeah.
That's happened to me before. I've gone a bit extra hardcore at the gym, and I felt kind of like sick, and I'm just like, cool down, because you're human.
Yeah.
So
Still didn't regret it though.
Yeah.
Still didn't regret it.
I want to touch on also one of the biggest thing on mental health is the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Because I feel
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And a lot of people will relate to this as well.
So, what would you say are the major do's and don'ts when dealing with mental health or dealing with people that are suffering with mental health?
There's quite a bit. See, that's a very important question, and I'm glad you asked, because this is where people go wrong, and I feel I really want to touch up on that, because there's a lot of do's and don'ts which you got to do, which people don't realize, because I feel sometimes they don't do it deliberately. They think they're helping, but I feel like you need to be very careful what you say to someone that's suffering depression or mental health issues and stuff like that. So for me, I would say like the don'ts will be like, don't judge them straight away, because you don't know what they're going through. You can't judge. You gotta sit back and just think, okay, what are they going through and stuff like that. Don't ever judge them. Never ever say, don't ever say, oh, you'll be all right. As I said, you'll be fine. You'll be fine tomorrow. It's not a flu. It's not a headache or something like that where you'll be fine tomorrow. And that people say a lot, even over the message and stuff. They're like, you'll be all right tomorrow. Just brush it off. No, it's mental health is a massive thing and stuff. Do you get what I'm saying and stuff? So that's one of the biggest things as well. And I feel don't ever get angry at them, because I feel people get, they're very impatient with them.
Get frustrated.
They get frustrated because they don't know what they're dealing with, but it's hard for that person to explain. They're not just going to come out with it like that. Sometimes it might take days or weeks for them to open up. So you can't, don't ever feel angry at them and stuff. And I would say like, don't ever act weird around them as well. Weird around them, because I feel like you just got to be patient. You got act normal and be patient with them.
Don't act like there's something wrong with them.
Yeah. Because they feel like they're gonna feel worse like that as well. Do you know what I'm saying and stuff? And so I would say for more, it will be like listen to them. Yeah. Be patient and listen to them.
I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? That people struggle with. Just listen.
Listen to them.
Just listen.
Because whether they take a few days, a few weeks, you've got to listen to them. You've got to be patient, because it takes, some people might just come out with it, it depends. Some people might hold back, and it might take a while for them to open up about something. So I would say listen to them, be patient with them, be very, very careful with what you say to them as well. Help them, as in like, help them with the daily tasks, because if they're going through mental health and depression and stuff, they can't go about their everyday lifestyle. So some people have kids, some people have other stuff to do every day at home. So help them with their tasks. Help them, like, as in making dinner for them one day, or doing their house jobs or something, picking up their kids. You're taking that load off them. It's a massive thing. Like, people might think, oh yeah, these are things their family can do, but they might not have a family here. Their family might not help them. So you got to take that extra step and help them and stuff. And sometimes they could turn around and say no. Do you know what I'm saying? They might not want that help, but at least you've offered your
support, isn't it?
Support and stuff like that as well. And obviously, I would just say, like, just basically listen and be patient, because it's just the fact that it's very, very important that they know that you're there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's just it alone, isn't it? 'Cause I think when you kind of get consumed by mental health, it's a very lonely place, regardless of how many people you're around. And for me as well, you touched on it about judgment. Don't judge.
You can't judge.
But I think the biggest problem, because I've experienced it personally when I've tried to support people, and I've recognised that now, is don't judge how someone feels based on how you would feel in that situation.
Yeah.
You know, just because you can't understand it doesn't mean it's not valid.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of mindfulness training in our office, and one saying that always sticks with me is seek to understand before being understood. And just because someone's struggling with something and you necessarily wouldn't struggle with that doesn't mean that it's not a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, so like you said, listen to what someone's struggling with. Understand that you might have different strengths in you that can handle that situation better.
Yeah.
But there might be a situation you find yourself struggling in that they can handle better.
Yeah.
And it's just to be there, be that ear, be that support, understand and listen. And more so, I hear this a lot of the time in friendship groups, etc. Like, they haven't even messaged me in like 3 weeks. They obviously don't care anymore. And it's like, hold on, take a step back for a sec.
Yeah.
If one of your friends has gone quiet, reach out.
There's a reason.
Why are we waiting for someone else to reach out? Reach out to them. What is going on? Because I'm one of the people, if I'm going through something, I just go in my shell and I'll try to deal with it. I'm not active. I don't call people all the time. I don't text people all the time. And it might be something they're trying to handle on their own and don't want the help, but they need it. Or that friend that keeps getting angry at silly little comments that you keep making or whatever. And you're like, you know what? They're turning into a bit of a, and it's like, well, 1 minute, if someone's behaving like that and it's a change in behavior, again, take a step back and be like, what could they be going through right now that could be creating this behavior? Rather than making a snap judgment and taking it personally, what is happening? And pull them aside and be like, look, this has been going on, and not from a defensive place, because someone's feeling like that, they're just going to jump to the defense anyway. But call them up. Do you want to go for a coffee? Do you want to go for a cup of tea? Do you want to go for a beer? And let's have a chat. Are you okay?
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm too busy. Go around to their house and make sure they're okay. But I think we're all too quick to take action when it's sometimes too late.
You're right, and I couldn't have said it better. And that's how it should be. I think it's about reaching out, because I've always said this. It's a simple text. Yeah. Like, it doesn't cost anything. Like, call them. If you don't want to call them, message them. As long as they know that you're there for them, they're happy. Don't expect a reply back. Yeah. They might reply after a few days, a few weeks, but just let them know that you're there. And, it's just about reaching out. And again, a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people don't do this. And I feel it'll save a life. It could save someone. I'm telling you, I've had messages before, randomly, someone checking up on me. It's made my day. Yeah. Like, literally, it's made me smile.
Automatic, that person cares.
That person cares. Yeah. Like, how are you? Because they haven't reached out for me. They haven't reached out to me because they want something, or because you're making, and this happens a lot in the industry, because when you're making moves, you're doing something, you're on a film set, you're casting for something, you're on a red carpet, you hear from people, all right? You're making moves, you hear from people. But I've always said, why can't people reach out on a normal day? Hi, how are you? Let's go for coffee. I respect that more. I respect that more. Completely. And I would appreciate that person more. And that's where the real legit love is. Yeah. Because I know that, they're not reaching out for anything else. They're just asking me how I am. And that's why I'm always just like, do you know what? How are you? Just reaching out and stuff. And legitly, like, even a coffee, go for a walk. Do you know how much that would help someone?
Incredibly.
You don't know what they're thinking that day, and they'll be like, do you know what? It's 100% a game changer. And, it's really important. Another thing I wanted to touch up on as well was a lot of people that are suffering mental health and depression, they're on medication. When they are on medication, their behavior is going to be different.
Yeah, not as rational.
Exactly, they're not going to be normal and stuff, and you got to respect that as well. You can't advise them on what. Bearing in mind, this is what people, a lot of mistakes do, that they advise them on what medication to take. Again, everyone's different.
Yeah, and you're not a doctor.
You're not a doctor.
You're not a doctor.
They need to go to the doctor themselves and get their own medication, because what ends up happening is everyone is different. Everyone is suffering differently.
Everyone has different symptoms.
Yes.
Different reactions, different reactions. Yeah.
So again, they could turn around and snap at you. Doesn't mean that they're doing it. It could be the side effects for the medication and stuff. So again, that's another thing where people need to really respect and be like, right, I've had a mate that it happened to years back and completely acting different from it and stuff, but we had to respect the fact that they were on strong medication, and we just had to be there. They'll snap at you, they will say stuff to you they don't mean, so you just gotta show them that love,
patience,
and be patient with it and stuff. So just respect their
and again, no judgment. I had a friend when I wasn't maybe so aware with how old this is, and they had to go onto medication. And I felt, at the time, I felt quite strongly about it. I was like, I don't think you need to be on that. I think there's other ways we can overcome this. And I just got worried that she'll go into a cycle. And what I quickly realised was, who are you to give that advice? And not only that, is this person has probably been through the worst of it and was brave enough to ask for help to get to that stage. And I'm now sitting there going, there must be another way. I'm sure they bloody thought of another way multiple times, and this was the last point. And don't do that. Don't do that, because it was such a big deal for them to get to that. They don't want to be on medication, but they see no other route out. So again, just support, understand, and be patient. But don't judge or be quick to think there must be another way, because I'm pretty sure that person must have thought about it already before making such a big potentially life-changing decision.
100%. I'm going to use my migraine, for example, like completely different, I know, but only migraine sufferers will know. Migraine sufferers will know what I'm talking about here. It's an illness. People just they go, it's a headache, you'll be fine. No, headaches are different, migraines are different, where literally I've got to get out of a noise. I feel anger in me. I just want to punch the wall. I feel sick and my head's throbbing. And you just want to sleep it off and stuff. And then what happens? I'm snapping at people. I'm snapping and I don't mean it. So when I'm at home, I'm around my family. When then I have a migraine, they just leave me to it. And then I feel bad after when I get better, because I just feel like, okay, but it's something that I've suffered, nearly all my life and stuff. So again, you just got to be careful around the person. And any medication that gives you side effects and stuff, people act differently and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel just support them, just be there for them, just care for them, give them a hug. I love hugs.
Underrated.
Give them a hug.
Hugs are underrated.
It's all about the hugs.
That exchange of energy can go a long way. A long way.
I'm telling you.
But again, because we're so used to being on phones, I feel like the physical element of showing you care can sometimes now change and differ, especially around men. I think men talking about mental health, showing each other that kind of support, and hugging your mate, your boy, that's not as often anymore as what it used to be, but that goes a long bloody way.
I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because I feel men need to speak about depression more. It's a massive thing where we know women, obviously women speak about it openly and stuff, but more men now need to speak out about it. They hide it because they don't want to look weak. Men cry. I'm not going to lie, men cry.
And they should.
And they should, because they know. I've cried before when I've suffered depression, when I suffer my migraines. I've got nothing to hide about it, and it doesn't make you look weak. It makes you stronger.
It's actually healthy.
And it's healthy. We're human, and the thing is, this is where men need to really come out of their shell, because they feel like they look weak. They don't want to look weak in front of people, women. And men suffer depression a lot nowadays as well, but they just don't want to speak out about it. But I'm urging you to speak out, because it helps. It helps, and trust me, I've done it. I've done it, and I held back. I've held back a lot, in my past, when I suffered racism, I suffered bullying, suffered all of that. And when I spoke out about it years later, I felt good.
Yeah, also it makes you realise that you're not the only one who has suffered it, and depression and mental health can be, like I said, a lonely place. So when you open that up to other people kind of connecting to that and being through a similar position, it helps you deal with it even better. It's like, I'm not the only one, and not that you go into a victim thought process, but it helps. But if everyone else is going through this too, then there is hope. I can come out of this. I can recover from it. I can be better off the back of it. But you just touched on some of your personal experiences. So at what point did you feel like you were in a bad place mentally, and kind of you had to pull yourself out of it? And how did you do that?
I still remember it like it was the other day. which was crazy, and I was young. I was a teenager, and you know, some things scar you. They don't leave you. I'm telling you. So I've suffered it all, and to be fair, I only opened up about it recently. I never made it about years and years. I just left it, and you know, when I was a teenager, when I worked in retail, I suffered like racism. I suffered like bullying. When I was younger, it was more like, because you're different when you're young, and I was like the skinny guy in school. I looked different. I had spiky hair, and it was just like there was times where no one, you know, people didn't want to hang out with me, or they treat you differently, and stuff. And it's funny because those same people now are in my DMs, or they want to work with me or hang out with me.
Things change very quickly.
Things
don't they?
change, but they've forgotten what they've done, but I ain't forgotten. But I'm more mature enough now where I'm just like, do you know what? My thinking is, kill him with your success.
Yeah, kill him with kindness.
Kill him with your success and kindness, because
Yeah,
and that's what
100%.
I've done. As much as I want to say a lot,
Yeah.
as much as I want to say a lot, I just felt like, do you know what? Look at where I am and look at where you are.
Exactly.
But for me, it was really hard. It was really hard because back then I didn't know what to do. And you know how you have the support now?
Yeah.
I'm talking back in 2006, 2007. You never had that then. Yeah. You know, when I suffered the racism at work, you know, there was no social media and all that then. There was no, phone this number, da da da. You know, I went to HR. I'm not going to name the company I was working for, but I went to the HR and stuff as well. But they never done much. You know, they were believing the manager, like as in the, you know, the manager was close with the HR and stuff, and I was like trapped. I'm like, what do I do? You know, if they're not going to do anything.
Wasn't fair, yeah.
So I was suffering. You know, I went through racism at the time, and then the bullying, because you know, when the staff were picking on me and stuff as well. I felt like the staff were close to the manager. I felt like an outsider. Even in school, like I was being called names. Again, in school, you can't really do much. You can't like be like, oh, I'm not going to school no more. You're gonna have to like, you know, deal with it and stuff. And it's hard to explain because it's been so many years ago. But I didn't speak to anyone. That was my downness. So I did not go home and speak to my parents. I didn't speak to anyone. I would advise anyone out there to speak to someone because it helps a lot. If not your family member, speak to a friend. If not a friend, then someone that won't judge you. I know people feel comfortable more talking to, like, when I mean strangers, someone that won't judge them, that they, you know, that they're not close to.
You've got the Samaritans helpline, for instance. Like,
yes.
They're great. They're fantastic.
You've got the internet now.
You've
got the
so
internet
many,
now. Yeah,
so many different outlets for sure.
But that's where my mistake. I didn't speak to anyone. Touching upon something personal I went through 6 years ago. I won't go into that much detail, but I went through hardcore depression. Something really personal happened to me, and didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with it, and it broke me. It broke me, as in I wanted to quit the industry. I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to be locked up in my room, and that I've always said there's two exits where you either stay locked up in your room, you eat junk food and just shut yourself, or you go out there, face the world.
Spiraling.
Yeah. You go out there, face the world, and that's what I did. And I kept busy. Luckily, I stayed around positive people. I went gym. It helped me so much. And the best thing I did was I told you I came off social media, but I was still doing my other stuff where I kept busy and stuff, and it got me through it. Not straight away. Took about a year or so, but it got me through it. And I did speak out a lot. I met up with my close friends, and I just let out, and it helped so much. I went for walks, and it helped a lot. So because I've been through all of these things now, I'm just like, I know what to say, you know, I know what to say to people. I know how to raise awareness. I know what they're going through. So I'm just going to try and be like, right, you need to do this, you need to do that. Again, everyone's different. They deal with it differently. But
you come from a place of experience now.
Yeah.
You know?
And one thing I know that I can say positively is it's made me stronger.
Resilient. You grow through what you go through, right?
It's made me stronger, and I feel like that's the only good thing that's come out of it.
Yeah.
That has made me a person I am today. It's made me stronger, and I know now how to deal with things.
Yeah.
I don't feel weak anymore. I don't feel weak anymore at all, and I know I'm ready for anything that comes my way. So yes, I'll have my down days, but I know now how to deal with it, and I just want to now try and when someone suffers depression or mental health or anything, I feel their pain inside because I've been through it. I feel it. I feel like when I look at them, I can feel their pain.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, okay, I need to give them a hug or reach out to them and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
'Cause you know how much that helped you
yes,
possibly when you were
it's
in
only
some
when
situation.
someone goes through it,
Yeah.
they know. I've always
Yeah.
said this. It's only when someone goes through depression, they know what the person's going through.
Yeah.
It's only when someone suffered a migraine, they know. They
Yeah.
know.
Because people relate then, but we shouldn't be waiting to relate to someone to be able to be there, right? You know, and it's the whole point of us doing this and trying to raise awareness. And, you know, somewhat a little bit different to your story, but I most recently had something quite, I felt traumatic happen to me. I'm not going to go into details like yourself, but I was in a very, very long-term relationship, near enough a decade, great relationship, very strong. And within a day, my whole world just fell apart. You know, unfortunately, some harsh truths came out about betrayal, etc. But literally, and I think so many people have gone through different scenarios in their life where certain things have happened outside of your control. This was outside of my control. You know, when you have loss, etc., and your entire world just fell apart. And that's what I felt happened to me. It's probably the worst place I think I've been in my life, and I should actually be grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was telling my boss about it, and he went, "You should be grateful. That's the hardest thing you've had to deal with so far," which I still kind of take with me now. But going through something like that completely annihilates your confidence, wipes away your self-worth, you question everything and anything about you. I mean, from here, I just went straight to the floor. And I struggled with that for a long time because as I like to feel like I'm a strong person, a strong character, but what does strong mean? It doesn't mean that you don't get affected by these things. And I think, again, that's where we kind of use the word strong, a strong person. It doesn't mean that you can handle this like it doesn't bother you. It means you can get through anything and be resilient. And I didn't believe for a long time I could get through that. Like I said, hit a lot of different parts of me. I think some of my strongest characteristics disappeared as a result of that. And a lot of people saying, go through therapy, do this, do that, and which I did do a little bit of. But what I found the biggest game changer for me was, one, taking myself out of a situation that you end up knowing it's not good for you, it's not helping you.
Yeah.
But my self-talk was the most important thing. Other than exercise that we touched on before, your self-talk is the be-all and end-all whether you're going to get through a situation like that. If your friend is going through a situation, you're not going to sit there and go, "I'll just get over it, just deal with it, it's not a big deal, there's worse things happening in the world." You wouldn't advise your friend like that. So why do you talk to yourself like that?
Yeah.
And that was my biggest game changer, was changing the way I spoke about myself. And it was hard work. Like, I had to be super, super aware. Like, those days of working out, I was like, "Oh, you ain't worth shit. You don't look good. You don't do this. You don't do that. You've put on weight. You know, if you were different, the situation wouldn't have happened," whatever it may be. And in those moments, because you're human, right? You're going to feel like that. I felt like in those moments, you snap yourself out of it, go, "No, look at yourself in the mirror and tell you you're a bad bitch." You know, look at yourself in the mirror and say that, "No, you're top notch. It was their loss, not yours," you know, and reassuring yourself of who you are. But that falls down a lot. And I think without having the support system I had, I wouldn't have got through it. But most recently, I had a bit of a hiccup. And like you said, you know, you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to... but doing what I do, I've got a team to support, I've got a company to support, I've got clients I need to show up for. And I remember one day, a couple of weeks ago, this is up to how recent it was, I got a little bit emotional at work, which doesn't happen often, but I did. And that's another thing, I didn't like to show my emotions. I'm a lot more open now, because it's important for people to understand where I'm at and not assume that I'm always okay, because we have a facade.
Of course.
But I remember I opened up to my managing director about how I was feeling. And how I wasn't showing up as Anna Takkou anymore. I didn't quite like who I was at one point.
Yeah.
And this sticks with me. And she goes, "Your spirit is broken. Your spirit is broken." She goes, "And what a spirit for them to break." And that just made me realise, like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And that's why you need to surround yourself when you're in those moments where you don't know who you are anymore. You don't feel confident with who you are anymore. You need to be around those people who know who you are and will show up for you when you can't 100%. And remind you of who you are and why you need to dust yourself off and carry on going. And that was, again, a game changer for me, was making sure that you're surrounded by the right people, people that genuinely do care about you, people that genuinely do love you, and won't make you feel bad about how you're feeling, but will help you come out of how you're feeling. But self-talk for me is the biggest issue, is how people view themselves and how they talk about themselves.
Yeah.
If you spend 5 minutes a day talking about yourself in a good way, and be careful about the language that you use, that will go a long way, and it will also change how people start treating you and how they view you too. So it will come in tenfold. You know, it will just help, you know, manifestation, so many different things that, you know, there's a whole nother discussion altogether. But if you keep pointing at a kid and telling them you're naughty, you're naughty, you're naughty, guess what? They're going to be naughty. If you keep talking bad about yourself consistently, not only are you going to believe that, but everyone around you is also going to start doing it. So that was a big game changer. But I think perspective. I think I'm not the most positive person. I think sometimes it's hard to find the positive in certain situations. But one thing's for certain is there's always bad things that can happen in life, I think, and trying to find that silver lining somewhere.
Yeah.
If a bad situation's happened to you, what is the lesson in that? What is it?
There's a reason why it happened.
There's a reason why it happened. Trying to find the good. Like someone smashed into your car, you got to pay £500 to fix it. Silver lining, probably could have been a worse crash from you not fixing that underlying issue that would have amounted to a 3. Find it somewhere, and trust me, you'll feel a hell of a lot better about the problem that you've got. Changing your perspective.
100%. I was gonna ask you as well, because obviously, you know, it's happened to you. What I want to ask is, how did you deal with that on a day to day? Because it affects you day to day, you know, life.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is how you are around family, your friends, at work. So obviously you can't just be like, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to work today. I'm not going to be going to work until I'm better again. You have to still go to work, but put on that face.
Yeah.
So, you know, how did you feel? Did your people pick up on your behavior? How did you soldier your day to day? And you know,
I think one thing about me is I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I think you will know from having a good day or a bad day. I can't change my energy. And one thing again I've realised is energy is such a big thing. If I'm having a good day, everyone's having a good day. If I'm not, no one else is. But I think it's accepting the fact you're having a bad day. And don't put yourself under the pressure that I've got to have all my teeth out, you know, like Colgate adverts so everyone knows I'm okay. Yeah. But I think it's mindfulness, being conscious in how you're feeling. So, for instance, I could wake up one morning, I don't want to get out of bed. I was probably woke up crying, you know. And it's, what can I do right now? So it's taking my 5 minutes, having my coffee, and then it'll be put on a YouTube video, a motivational YouTube video.
Yes.
And as annoying as it is, because it's annoying when you're not in a good place and you listen to someone going, get out of bed and blah, 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 blah. It's annoying, right?
Yes.
But by the end of that video, you feel like an idiot for not doing it.
Yeah.
You know, you get something out of that. And then for me, it's getting in my car then and putting on some happy tunes, putting on Adele. I love you, Adele. Putting on Adele when you're going through that, right? Yeah. It's going to pull you into more of your emotions. Putting on Pharrell Happy, all right, maybe that's a bit excessive, but putting on certain things that's going to raise your energy that little bit. But I found coming into work and just letting people know, look, I'm having a bit of not a great day today. I think people were more conscious in how they acted around me. That helped me. Maybe didn't trigger, but maybe gave me some positive things. Maybe, you know, kind of gave me a pat on the back for something I'd done that maybe you wouldn't normally give me a pat on the back for, but little things that push you and help you. But one thing I found was, it's very easy to get into your shell, like you said. You know, don't want to get out of bed, don't want to see people, don't want to get out. For me, it was get up in the morning, put your makeup on, and put on something that you feel good wearing. Because once you start feeling good, you act good. Yeah. That was one thing. Listening to the tunes. If I felt like crap, you know, if I felt like I don't like how I look, I'm feeling insecure, I'll put on something that made me feel badass. Yeah. Like, that's another thing I would do. Let my environment know. Now, the guy behind the camera right now, I'm going to bring some spotlight to him. He probably doesn't realise it, but there's been many occasions where I've come into the office when I've not been in a good way, and not a man of many words, but just a few words that he'll say, realise what my energy was like, and it would make me feel a lot better. But visiting family. Yes. I didn't want to see my family because I didn't want them to see me not in a good way and then worry. Yeah. But, you know, being around the people, for instance, my mum who gave birth to me. Yeah. You know, like, I feel like I'm a woman, I'm a grown woman, I'm a professional, I should be able to handle my stuff. I'm still a child to her.
And you always will be.
You'll always be a child. And to her, it was, I'm always here for you above anything and anyone. Anyone can fall away from your life at any given point, which is what I learned. But having someone there knowing that no matter what, you've got them there. My brothers, my dad, my family dog, things like that. And it was more wholesome. It brings you back to what matters. People come in and out of your life, people hurt you, but it's not what happens, it's how you handle it.
Yes.
And I think it was having that belief that this isn't permanent. And having that belief that this isn't going to destroy me, I'm going to make this create me. So you need to treat, I think, every bad thing that happens in your life as like you're a caterpillar. It's an evolution.
Yeah.
You're going to evolve out of this. You're either going to go down or you're going to go up. And I'll be damned if I ever let it do the opposite. So it's how you're looking at your problems and who you surround yourself by, because you're not going to be Superwoman or Superman every day. It's on those down days, surround yourself with the people that do make you feel good, the ones that make you laugh.
I've always said that. Surround yourself with good energy, because that is a big impact on yourself. That's going to come on you. If you're around negative people, you need to stay around positive people.
Well, a saying that my mum says, I won't say it in the way that she says it, because it'll be probably bleeped out. But my mum always said, you hang around poo and you smell like poo.
Yeah. You
hang around flowers, you're going to smell like a lily. And that is exactly it. You are who you surround yourself with. No matter how elevated you are, or how positive you are, in the office, we've got this saying called Takkou's bubble. And this is another thing that I kind of mentally created for myself. So the external comments and judgments from when I was going through, I didn't absorb it and define myself by it. So you just imagine like a bubble, like a force field. You can't affect my energy today. No matter what that client says, or no matter what that person says, or no matter what that old friend says, or what that ex-partner said, I let it determine whether it's going to affect me or not. And then when you've got that kind of imaginative things like, no, I'm going to let it bounce off. And energy is a huge part of it. Surround yourself with positive energy. You're going to be able to bring yourself out of the darkest of times, because they're certain. They're certain. Life's going to have so many more curveballs. Surround yourself with those that are going to be really enjoying that you're not going through a good time. Because that's a lot of them, and they're disguised as friends a lot of the time.
100%.
And fans, But identifying that and knowing who you need to be around. And if you need to be alone, be alone. You're better off being alone than surrounded by the people that are not going to be adding to your happiness or help you get out of that. You've got much better luck looking at YouTube videos, motivational things, and surrounding yourself virtually with these people than surrounding yourself with the physical beings that are actually pulling you down. So that's a huge, huge part of it for sure.
I just want to say, you know what? I feel everyone out there should be proud of themselves to be where they are today, because there's so much pressure on people. And I feel what we touched on earlier, where they're constantly seeking validation and stuff, but everyone's life is different. There's mothers out there, there's fathers out there, there's grandmothers, there's grandfathers, there's teenagers, there's and everyone's doing different jobs. There's people working in retail, office, acting, music. They have their own businesses. I think everyone is living a different life. Everyone's got different pressures. Everyone's got different, they're kind of suffering different depression or mental health issues, and
different struggles.
Different struggles. Having people taking care of their kids and stuff. No matter what age, and I feel like the stress of like mortgages, rent, the cost of living, and how people are going to survive every day. So we have to respect that. We have to respect that. And this is what people don't respect a lot, where you got to respect every individual's lives, where we don't know how they're living, what they're living. You've got to respect that, be there for them, support them. But I just want to say to everyone out there, be proud of where you are today. You've come this far. And this is me as well. I sometimes forget until someone reminds me of how much I've done. And, even in the industry and how far I've come. But because you just forget in your bubble. You're just working, you're working, you're in your journey. It's only when that person reminds you. So sometimes you just got to remind that person, look, clap for yourself, which a lot of people don't do. Clap for yourself. Be proud of where how far you've come. Carry on shining. And like you said earlier, sending that positive energy. Because that will all improve your mental health. And stuff. So I'm clapping for you. Clap for yourself.
Clap for your own damn self. Clap for your own damn self.
Clapping for you as well.
But I think definitely we've covered cover things that are super, super important right now. So I think, yeah, like I said in closing, is clap for your damn self, be proud of where you got to, and check in with your people. That Aggie friend is Aggie for a reason. Check in with them. That friend who had a baby and you think they're having the best time of their lives because they've had a kid and you haven't yet, trust me, they're struggling too, whether they're a single mum or not, whether they've got a full-time hands-on nanny, parents, whatever it is. Everyone struggles through different things. So just check in with people, and if everyone's doing that, we'll be a much better society where we're seeing a lot of mental wealth and not mental health.
I second that. I second that.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Nicely done, guys.